I'm your host, Double R, and you're now tuned in to Retro Rob Television. Salute to my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. And salute to my original subscribers for always holding your boy down. I truly do appreciate that. Make sure you go ahead and check out my other videos, man. Great stuff. Now, what's it going to be, Ryan? Lion Ryan? I'm going to continue to call you that until you prove me wrong. What is it going to be? Are we going to fight Tank? Because we know you're not going to fight Devin Haney. There's a lot of rumors out there, a lot of speculation out there. There's a lot of optimism out there that Ryan could possibly be facing Tank by the end of the year. I highly doubt it. I did a video telling you guys don't look forward to Tank and Devin Haney. I did a video telling you guys don't look forward to anybody that's on that, well, what they call it, 4-5 Kings. Don't look forward to none of them fighting Devin Haney. Look forward to Devin Haney possibly rematching Kambosos. Look forward to Lomachenko possibly fighting Shakur Stevenson. But it's a lot of people out here that really, truly believe Tank and Ryan Garcia will actually fight. Don't hold your breath. That's coming from Double R. Do not hold your breath. That fight is not going to happen, man. Oscar De La Hoya, he's trying to act like he's negotiating in this situation with Tank and Ryan as if he's negotiating with him and Floyd back in the day. It's not going to happen. I just feel like they're doing grade A clout chasing. I did a video yesterday talking about the capping that's going on in the 135-pound division. Well, the capping that's going on in boxing, period, but specifically in the 135 division, a lot of capping going on, a lot of clout chasing going on. It's a lot of people talking the talk, but ain't trying to walk the walk, you know. And if they is doing something, they're doing the bare minimum. You know, they're fighting people that they know that they can beat, you know, people that they've been scouting for a long time. You know, meanwhile, talking about what they're going to do as far as each other when it comes to the elite, but they're just doing nothing but talking. But again, this Tank and Ryan Garcia fight is not going to happen. Now, if it does, and Ryan actually signs, one or two things. I'll be surprised. One, that's the main one. And then the other thing is he's been pressured. You know, he's being pressured now to fight somebody that actually has a name. You know, fight one of the 4-5 Kings. You know, could it be Ryan and Teofimo? I could see that fight actually happening. I can see Ryan and Teofimo, because Ryan and Teofimo both don't want to really fight the bigger names, you know, what I perceive to be the 3 Kings. I feel like it's only 3 Kings, and that's Shakur, Tank, and Devin Haney. I feel like those are the 3 Kings. But it's a lot of people out here, you know, as I continue to go on with my day, I see there's a lot of people out here that's optimistic, that really feel like Tank and Ryan Garcia possibly can be getting it on at the end of the year. But it's a lot of business front. And me personally, I got to see it to believe it. I just don't feel like Ryan wants to smoke. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez came out and he was asked about Ryan Garcia. He said he feels like Ryan Garcia is a very good fighter. You know, he still has a lot to learn, as they all. But they asked him specifically about Ryan in a matchup versus Tank, and he said, "Oh no." He said, "Oh no." He said, "No disrespect to Ryan, but Tank is a very good fighter. He's a warrior, and he could see Tank brutally knocking out Ryan Garcia, as we all can. You know, we're in an era where a lot of these dudes can hide behind, you know, the social media and all that stuff. You know, especially if you're non-black, you can hide behind the social media and stuff like that, and make people believe that you want. And to be honest with you, it's so fake, because the people that you're trying to convince that you're this, that, and the third, they act like you're this, that, and the third along with you. But deep down inside, they know you can't stand a chance. You see what I'm saying? They know that you can't beat Tank. They know that you can't beat Devin Haney. They know that you can't beat a lot of these dudes. Now, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo is a great fight. You feel me? But I got Ryan losing to Lomachenko. I have Ryan losing to Tank. I have Ryan losing to Devin Haney. I have Ryan losing to Shakur. I have him 50-50 with Teofimo. I have him losing to Lomo. Who else is out there? I have him pretty much in competitive fights with everybody else. But those other names, and I don't see that fight happening, man. I see them constantly building this fight up, acting like they want it. You know, things getting close, and then them moving the goalposts once again, and then things brewing back up, and then moving the goalposts once again. I just feel like they'll convince us, unless the fans put enough pressure on Ryan to do it. I feel like they'll try to convince us that the fight is going to happen, and convince themselves that they want the fight. In reality, they're just constantly moving the goalposts, you know, to keep their name within the relevancy of the people that are actually fighting, the people that actually want to fight. That's all that's going on. So I don't look forward to none of that happening anytime soon, as far as Ryan Garcia and Tank, as far as any one of those guys fighting each other. Buck City, he said, "What's good, Rob? Salute yesterday. I chimed in. I was speaking on the Axeman Nicholas Walters." Yeah, I haven't heard of him, brother. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be rude or nothing. He said the boxer that quit on Lomachenko. You know, and here's the thing. And this is why I tell you guys to participate. You know, I know it's a lot of people. My channel was built off of talking about battle rap, talking about, you know, campaigning for Cassidy and his whole return. And a lot of people was rocking with me until I went against Cassidy, and then they tore my channel down, report me. That's why I have the problems that I do with the viewers. You know, and I know I have to get better with the images and doing what I need to do as far as from a technical point, you know, when it regards to, you know, being more innovative and more creative online. I know I have to do what I have to do, but we on the phone, we rocking right now. I got to get a new laptop. I'm in the process of doing that right now. It's a lot that I want to talk about, you know, a lot of different things. I want to talk about basketball. I want to talk about boxing. I want to talk about politics. I want to talk about religion. I want to talk about a whole bunch of things. You know, we're going to do a whole new thing, but we're going to get some guests on here. We're going to do a whole lot, but I need the participation of the people, you know, and I know that comes with just putting out consistent content, you know, and content that people are interested in, you know. So y'all going to see a lot, man. I'm going to clean up a lot of my act on this channel, you know, for you guys, for the people that want to participate, and the ones that don't, and the ones that just watch and just hate. Good for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? It's good for y'all too, because I told you, even when you click, even when you know you watch it from the clouds, you're still participating, you know, so that still counts. But yeah, I wasn't being disrespectful with you, but I just didn't know who that guy was, and that's my whole point when in regards to Vasil Hacek Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Is that if I don't know who he is, and most people wouldn't know who he is, only people probably know who he is the real boxing fanatics. You see what I'm saying? Bob Erm disrespected that brother, starved him out, and forced him to fight Lomachenko and ruin his career. Oh, that's messed up. You know, Bob Erm did that to Bud Crawford as well. I believe they're still fighting in court because of that. He did that to Bud Crawford. He messed up a nice portion of Bud Crawford's career too with that BS. But Bob Erm been doing that for a while. You feel me? Like, it's so much that I want to talk to you guys about, but I need y'all participation. Like, I'm not one of those creators. I can if I really put in the time, but I just got so much going on that I can't and I won't do it. But I'm the type of creator where if I can get the interaction and the dialogue from the fans, even the disagreements are the best, because we can get different perspectives for the people. You know, and I talk this sports shit, man, and you'll be excited. Like, you'll be excited. You know, it ain't gonna be no arguing. A lot of people like to argue, like to fight on this shit. Nah, you know, and that way we can get these numbers going. But yeah, Bob Erm been a scumbag. You feel me? I've been talking about that, you know. Yeah, Bob Erm been a scumbag. You know, he's going to continue to be a scumbag as long as the black fighters, let me tell you something, as long as these black fighters, and that's why I rock with, I know a lot of people have a lot to say about Dante's Boxing Nation, but that's why I rock with Dante, because Dante keeps it real. You feel me? He keeps it real. The LDBC, I fucks with all of the brothers of the LDBC. I fucks with Drew. I believe Drew still subscribed to my channel. Subscribe to Drew Titan. Fucks with 78, been listening to 78 for years. Fuck with Ticket, been listening to him for years, even though he kind of transitioned over to basketball, stuff like that. You know, I listen to all of them. You know, and you know, let's just keep pushing the real. You know, all of that fighting, in-house fighting and all of that stuff, even though this person is not with that group, you know, it just reminds me of how black people fight over neighborhoods that they don't own. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to stop all of the in-house fighting. Even though people ain't with the same groups, we're all still brothers. We're all still black at the end of the day. You know, and I respect everybody that pushes that real, especially when it regards to racism, especially when it regards to, you know, a lot of the unfair circumstances when it regards to this sport. You know, I talked about that in battle rap. You know, I like to talk about that in general. I talk about that in general in life. You know, shit is built off spiritual warfare. And at the end of the day, we can't keep complaining about the enemy. We can't keep complaining about the oppressor, you know, when we're contributing to being oppressed. And a lot of these black fighters, man, and that's why I love when Dante called out Shakur on that. Shakur felt some type of way because Shakur deep down inside, and y'all know, nobody is a bigger fan of Shakur than me. Everybody talks about Devin Haney. Everybody talks about Tank. Everybody talks about Ryan. Everybody talks about Tiafimo. Everybody talks about Lomachenko. But my favorite out of all of them is Shakur Stevenson. But we got to keep it real. From a business standpoint, from an in-ring standpoint, Shakur to me is the best out of all of them. You know, even Devin Haney, who I think very highly of. I think Shakur is slightly better. You see what I'm saying? But we got to keep it real as far as from a business standpoint. We can't keep sitting aside and allowing Bob Erm and them to just do it as they may. Because as history shows, they will do just that if you allow them to do it. So we can't sit up here and continuously complain about, oh, the white man doing this, the white man doing that. You know, I agree with Dante 100%, you know. And Dante can bring racism into this because, you know, racism, this world was bred off of racism. YouTube is racism. This world we live in is racism. And I feel like a lot of people try to avoid that, and that's the issue. Stop trying to avoid it and face it head on and do something about it. You know, we can't keep talking about racism when we feel like we're being, somebody is prejudiced against us. We can't talk about that and then ignore somebody else's situation. You know, when they're being treated unjust and shit like that. But yeah, I like when Dante did that. He called it out because I seen the situation with Devin Haney. Remember when Devin Haney said he ain't never losing to no white boy? You know, I remember that. And Devin Haney and Bill and them came out here with that apology. You know, deep down inside, they probably felt like they wouldn't be in the position that they in right now if they didn't apologize. I beg to differ. You know, I feel like, you know, trust in the Most High, not to get biblical on you, but trust in the Most High. You know, they always saying, Hamdulillah, Allah, and, you know, I ain't Muslim, so I ain't all hip to all of that stuff. But, you know, they always saying Allah and all of this shit. But at the end of the day, do you really believe that shit? Because if you really had faith, you wouldn't be out this joint, man, moving in scarcity. You see what I'm saying? Fear-mongering and shit like that. You'll stand on your principles and shit like that. Yeah, taking risks is cool. But at the end of the day, you know, now that you've took that risk, you know, now we got to start standing on other shit. All that, if you're going to say you'll beat a white boy and you'll never lose to a white boy, stand on that. You know? And I agree with Dante with the Shakur shit. Shakur was pumping that dude up, Bam Bam Rodriguez. He was pumping him up. Bam Bam should be pumping you up. You Shakur Stevenson. If we put Shakur Stevenson in the ring with Bam Bam Rodriguez right now, Shakur will beat the brakes off that boy. And everybody knows it, even Bam Bam and his crew. We got to stop pumping these dudes up at the expense of tearing down our own brand. Got to stop doing that. He said Al Heyman and Showtime lowballed him. Then he came back and apologized. Yeah, it's that type of shit, man. You see Adrian Broner diss Al. Yeah, I see all of that. I seen him diss Leonard Ellaby way back. You know, what's the name? AB. I like AB. My wife love AB. I think AB is he's like my height. He's like my age. I believe he's very, very entertaining, man. You know, everybody know he leaned on Floyd a little too much. He's still trying to lean on Floyd a little too much. You know, and after that Maidana situation where he was prancing around and, you know, fake pumping him from the back and doing all those antics and shit like that, you know, he got his ass knocked out. He did the stanky leg, and he been fucked up ever since. You know, he's afraid to let his hands go, you know. But one thing about AB, I like him. I like him as a person. I feel like he's real genuine. I feel like he's very entertaining. You know, but the one thing about AB is that AB is just like a female from a standpoint of not taking accountability. You know, he don't like to take accountability for his own actions, for what he do to himself. You know, you're the one out here acting a damn fool. You're the one out here, you know, following behind Floyd. You know, it's okay to have a big brother. It's okay to have a mentor. You know, it's okay to be a mentor. What do you think about Wilder? Should Wilder fight next? Yeah, I did a video on that yesterday. Go ahead and check the video out that I did. A lot of my people out there. I did a video talking about that. Check out the video where I said Wilder is about to go off. I feel like Wilder's about to go on a run. Go ahead and check out that video. I don't want to tell you. But yeah, I did a video on Wilder. If there's anything else you guys want me to talk about when it regards to boxing, I may not talk about boxing as much as these other dudes do, but I watch it just as much, probably even more than these other dudes do, man. I feel like just like any other sport, a lot of these dudes got a lot more to work on, a lot more tools to sharpen up, a lot more people to fight to add to their resume. I don't even care if it's somebody else that somebody in your division already fought. You need to add that experience to your resume. You haven't fought them. Just because this person beat that person that way doesn't mean you're going to beat that person that way, because, you know, you don't know if you could beat that person that beat that person, if you get what I'm saying. You know, people say, oh, yeah, Bruce Ennis beat him. I know I can beat him. Can you beat Bruce Ennis? So if you can't beat Bruce Ennis, or if you don't know if you could beat Bruce Ennis, and you know there's only one way to figure that out, to find that out. You know, I see guys like Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is out here, man. Why he not fighting Bruce Ennis? I see, what's the dude, Ben? Nigel Ben's son? I see Ben. We were just talking about him. I forgot his first name. Conor Ben. I see Conor Ben out here. You know, they hyping him up. But he's scared to jump in there with Bruce Ennis. You see what I'm saying? Like, but as far as Deontay Wilder, nobody is going to beat Deontay Wilder. Nobody was going to beat Deontay Wilder before all of the Fury cheating and shit like that. Ain't nobody going to beat Wilder this time. You know, but go ahead and check out that video. He said, what do you think Wilder should fight next? Who do you think Wilder should fight next? Yeah, I said it in the video, but because you asked, I've heard Wilder may face Robert Helenius. I don't like that fight. I feel like that's easy work, but it's a comeback fight for Wilder, but it's just too easy. You know, Wilder has been training with Helenius. He's been working out with Helenius. I just feel like that's easy. That's easier than Dominic Brazil, you know. That's an easy fight. You know, what's his name? Adam Kalnaki. He lost to Helenius. He'll get knocked out. I like to see Wilder and Joe Joyce. Now, Joe Joyce is an easy style for Wilder, but he's very, very deceptive, and he's deceptively fast. Like when you watch Joe Joyce, you feel like, you know, he's slow and he's robotic. That's what I felt like at first when I watched Joe Joyce. I felt like he was slow and robotic and shit like that. But as I started to watch him, he's deceptively fast. He has a nice jab, telephone pole jab, like how Wilder was trained by Mark Grilling to have. You know, what Wilder used in the the Bermain Stavern fight. But the thing with the juggernaut, Joe Joyce, is that Joe Joyce's style is tailor-made for Wilder to land that straight right hand. You know, but Joe Joyce is, I believe, he fought in the Olympics and shit like that. I know he has a long, extensive amateur background, but the fight I like is Frank Sanchez. That's the fight I like. I like outside of Wilder, Frank Sanchez is my favorite. Outside of Wilder, a lot of people prop up Jared. What's his name? Jared Miller, the new big baby. They prop him up, but he's not ready yet. You know, let him continue on fighting who he fighting to come up the ranks and stuff like that. I'm gonna stop referring to these guys as tomato cans and bums, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm not fighting them, and these guys need to gain experience. You know, but I don't think there's nobody out there that's really a challenge for Wilder. A lot of people feel like Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is somebody new outside of Luis King Kong Ortiz, and Wilder already beat him twice. Yeah. Wilder and Joshua. Joshua don't want that fight. Wilder and Joshua will never fight. Mark my words. Wilder and Joshua. Look back at the old videos. Back at my old videos when I was talking about that. You know, I was talking about a lot of this stuff back then, but it just so happened that YouTube don't send out my notifications. A lot of y'all don't get it. So y'all just came across my stuff, so y'all didn't know, you know, because of that bullshit YouTube be on. But I've been talking about a lot of this shit, man. Joshua is not going to fight Wilder. They going to keep saying, well, Eddie Hearn is doing this and Eddie Hearn is doing that, man. If Joshua want that fight, Joshua could get that fight. Eddie Hearn nor Joshua is confident enough that they could go in and beat Wilder. Remember, Joshua said, when I fight Wilder, I'll be ready. When I fight Wilder, I'll be ready. But this was when Joshua was actually a champion, when he actually had the belts. You know, this was before the Andy Ruiz shock, before the Andy Ruiz ass whooping the first fight. You see what I'm saying? But I just feel like a lot of people are in over their head when it regards to Wilder. Yes, Wilder isn't that great when it comes to technical skills like that. But that's the problem. A lot of people don't want to fight Wilder because of Wilder's sheer will, his heart, and his power. The greatest power in the history of boxing. You know, and now in this time, I feel like Gervonta is second behind Wilder in this era as far as the power. You know. But, yeah. Wilder, nobody could beat Wilder, man. Nobody could beat Wilder, you know, in this time. Fury cheated. He gonna knock Joshua out. Joshua is just like Joe Joyce. A lot of those guys from the UK, you know, I don't know if it's in something in the water, but a lot of them are just stiff, robotic. You know, they fight in a straight line. They don't give you no angles. They don't really move their head. They don't really got defense like that. They just there to be hit. They're there to be got. You know, and I see the same thing with Conor Ben. I see the same thing with a lot of those dudes, man, that come from the UK. You know, our fighters are just more well trained and prepared to adapt and for the moment. You think Wilder can beat Usyk? Wilder knocks Usyk out. It's going to take Wilder much more longer. Now, that is the toughest fight. That would be the toughest fight out of them all. You know, even with Fury, I feel like Usyk will be a much more tougher fight than Fury. You know, Wilder really, if it wasn't for the long count, Wilder really got Fury up out of there in the third fight in the fourth round. He really got Fury up out of there if it wasn't for the long count. You know, and the biggest fear with a lot of these fighters when we're talking about Wilder is that these guys can train, can bust their ass, and all Wilder have to do is just land that shot, and it's over. I think that is the biggest, probably the single most biggest issue fighters have, is that they could be ahead on the scorecards, they could fight the best boxing they ever fought, and all Wilder got to do is land that power punch, and it's a wrap. One thing about Alexander Usyk is that Usyk is undersized to be a heavyweight, but it can be deceptive when you're watching Usyk versus Joshua, because I don't think that highly of Joshua like everybody else do. I just feel like Joshua don't have heart like that. I feel like he's a quitter. You know, he's big, he's built like a fucking Adonis, but at the end of the day, you know, how many people that we grew up with and we've known that just big for nothing? And I ain't saying Joshua don't have skills, but you know, Joshua, he just, when it comes to, it's just a different level when you go up and fight the elite. You see what I'm saying? I remember he said at the Wilder one time, you know, it's a different level when you go up. But I'm like, you just lost to Andy Ruiz, somebody you wasn't even supposed to lose to. A lot of these dudes was clowning Ruiz, calling them the plumber and all of that shit. You know, I just feel like the fans give these fighters more credit to prevent from giving Wilder credit at all. You know what I'm saying? They give a lot of these, and that's the mistake that they make. And that's the mistake that they're going to continue to make as Wilder continue to knock these dudes out. You know, understand, these dudes ain't Tyson Fury. These dudes ain't 6'9". These dudes ain't almost 300 pounds. These dudes don't move fast for their size. These dudes don't get the benefit of the doubt from the referees like Tyson Fury do. From the boxing organization like Tyson Fury does. So understand, Wilder was knocking these dudes out before all of that, and Wilder was going to continue to knock these dudes out. You know, and Tyson Fury got his own issues. You know, when in regards to him not being able to come in the States and the Daniel Kinahan shit. So at the end of the day, yeah, Wilder's gonna go on a run. But yeah, he said them UK fighters got weak orbital bones. Yeah, they weak. You know, not even just weak physically, like they're weak from an emotional standpoint. Like it's like they don't got their head all the way in the game. Like even Kell Brook, like a lot of them dudes, man, they just look good because of the opponents that they was fighting before they got to the real names. And when they get to the real name, it's the same old thing that happened. A lot of people like to hype Mike Tyson up, but it was the same exact thing with Mike Tyson, fighting a lot of has-beens, fighting a lot of dudes that wasn't that great compared to him. You know, but when he moved up in competition, we seen what happened with Lennox Lewis. We seen what happened with my favorite fighter, Holyfield. We seen, Holyfield did a lot of headbutting. Holyfield, man, that's a part of boxing. Y'all are complaining about the headbutting because it's Mike Tyson, but you'll let Tyson Fury literally go in there and cheat and hit people with foreign objects and hit people in the back of the head. See, that bias, that's the shit I'm talking about when it comes to this sport. You know, so Marquell Porter, what's up with you, bro? How you been? Yeah, Buck City TV, man. Thank you for all the great questions, brother. Any more questions? And anybody else, man, feel free to ask questions, man. You know, I might just, once I get my laptop back, even before that, I might just have, call it question hour. You know, just title it question hour, where we could just talk about anything. You know, or I might just label it boxing, question hour. You know, basketball. Don't steal my ideas out there, people. You know, but it is what it is. You know, even though you steal my ideas, you don't have my mind. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, I mean, that Ryan Garcia shit, man, ain't nobody think about that. Ryan Garcia is out here bluffing. He said, I've been good. What about you? I've been good, bro. I've been good. You know, trying to eat right as best as I can. Trying to get in shape, get back in shape. Grinding. That's all. You know, want to get this YouTube channel popping, but you know, I'm waiting on y'all, man. You know, if there's any topics y'all want me to talk about, put comment in the live. Comment after the video. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about. I'll talk about it. You know, I put polls up to see what y'all want me to talk about and talk about it. So I just wouldn't be talking about random shit that I really don't want to talk about and y'all really don't want to hear about. Yeah, but this sport of boxing is trash, man. It's trash. You know, the fighters that's supposed to fight each other ain't trying to fight each other. You know, even you have one fighter on one side that really want to make the fight, but the other fighter on the other side doing everything in their power to avoid the fight, but want to present to the public like they trying to make the fight. That's what's going on. Ryan don't want that fighter. I mean, he don't want that fight no more than his promoter wanted. You know, the promoters don't have confidence in the fighters. The ex-fighters, former fighters, the legends that these fighters look up to, you know, they're afraid for these guys. Julio Cesar Chavez, he's afraid for Ryan Garcia. He don't have confidence in Ryan Garcia can beat Tank. You know, I don't have confidence in none of these niggas when it comes to them trying to do anything as far as making a fight with Devin Haney. Outside of Shakur. And that fight is way too early right now. So I see a collision course. I see, like I said, the three kings. I see Shakur, I see Tank, and I see Haney in the 135 division. You know, I see Terrence, I see Spence, I see Boots. You know, that's what I see. in the 147 pounds. Virgil Ortiz, you can miss me with that shit. What's the other one? Connor, Ben, you can miss me with that shit. You know, heavyweight division, Deontay Wilder, when he said he's back now, but when it's official and the fight is set in stone, and Deontay Wilder will run the heavyweight division again. You know, got to see what's going on with Jamil in his situation. Got to see what's going on with Jamal. I feel like Jamal and a lot of those dudes, Boo Boo Andrade, and a lot of them is ducking the Mexican monster. You know, they're ducking my man. David Benavidez. You know, they ducking my man. You know, so there's gonna be a lot of little footsie going on, a lot of little ring around the rosy going on, a lot of little carousel riding going on, a lot of little clout chasing and capping going on. And you know, until these fans, I told you as the fans, y'all have the power to make these fights happen. But as long as y'all being okay with getting the bare minimum, that's what y'all get. He said, Boo Boo not ducking. Drip, what's up with you? Salute to Drip. Yeah, I fuck with Boo Boo too. But see, I look at Boo Boo the same way I look at Devin Haney. You know, all of the talent in the world. But power is kind of suspect when we're talking about going up that ladder. That power is the thing that I worry about when it regards to Boo Boo. And if Boo Boo is all the way invested in this thing, man. Because Boo Boo has been up and down in his career, man. But, yeah, Boo Boo is very talented. Boo Boo the real boogeyman. Okay, well, let's see. Why ain't fighting David Benavidez? I've watched Boo Boo Andrade's interviews and stuff. What's going on? Let's make it happen. But I'll talk about that in a separate video, man. Salute to my people out there. Deuces.